Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. My name is Mike. I'm the moderator in a series of videos that is all about Persian rugs and handmade carpets from around the world. And in this video, I want to talk about difference in qualities and how some of the numbers can actually be somewhat misleading, especially if you are if you're looking at carpets, especially on the internet. There is a little trick that people are playing with people that I thought I'm going to share with you and give you little pointers on that. And then also I'm going to introduce you to a very rare type of Turkish Hereke rug, because it is kind of in the line of what we're talking about here. And so at the latter part of the video, I'm going to be featuring, it's a very rare Turkish Hereke piece. And for those of you that have been following my channel, you know I have a personal fetish when it comes to the Turkish Hereke pieces. Even though my family is Persian, being born and raised in Germany, I just learned to appreciate just about everything there is. And I just have this really personal thing about the Hereke pieces. We got a very rare Serhad that I'm going to be sharing with you. But in this video, the main thing I wanted to share with you, and I got three pieces right here. As I'm going to do in a little bit when I get behind the camera, show you the details. It is generally understood that one of the ways that you can determine the quality of a handmade carpet, whether it's Persian, Indian, Chinese, Turkish, doesn't matter where in the world it's from. If it's hand knotted, one of the easiest ways for you to know the quality is to count the kpsi. The kpsi is an American standard that is actually you can use anywhere in the world. It's very easy to use, and I actually prefer it over the global, the European system, which is knots per square meter. Knots per square meter is a big number. kpsi is something that anybody can do. Basically, what it means, and the reason why, and I've talked about this in many of my other videos, the reason why it matters is because I hung up 3 silk rugs. And this is just as a demonstration. We got an Indian one, we got a Persian one, and we have the Turkish one. Well, if I told you that I have a very fine 10-10 quality silk rug, for example, I also have an 18-18 quality silk rug. You would assume that because 18-18 sounds bigger than 10-10, that the 18-18 is finer, when in fact it's not. It's the other way around. Here you have an Indian cashmere rug, silk pile, cotton foundation. This is a high-end piece. This is a fine quality piece. It is referred to in this particular case as an 18-18 quality. And what it means, and I'm going to show it to you when I get behind the camera, but you have a measuring tape. If you put it down on the back of the rug, you flip it over, and you take a picture of the ruler. You zoom up the picture on your phone, and you count the knots over 1 inch, which is 2.54 centimeters. I always say basically 2.5 centimeters. Take 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch, count the knots, square the number, and you have kpsi. In this case, the Indian rugs are actually classified based on the kpsi. So when it comes to the Indian cashmere's quality, when they say 18-18, it means, in this case right here, 18 knots per inch. Now, this is a Turkish Hereke. The Turkish Hereke only has a 10-10 quality. But I say 10-10 because if you put a ruler down, but this time when it comes to the Turkish rugs, we use centimeters. Indian had inch, the Turkish centimeters. If you put it down and you take a picture, the reason why they call this a 10-10 quality, it has 10 knots per centimeter. 10 knots per centimeter. Turkish. Now, here's the kicker. 10-10 quality, 18-18 quality. But this Indian one is measured in inches, whereas the Turkish ones, they measure them in centimeters. And this is where some of the confusion comes in. If you took this Hereke piece and you convert centimeters to inches, this one has 25 knots per inch. So if you were to classify the Turkish rug in the same manner as you do with the Indian ones, this would actually be a 25-25 quality. Hence, the Turkish one is much, much finer. Therefore, also much more expensive. So what I was the point I'm trying to get to you is when you look at the quality of the rugs, note that and this is not something that people do on purpose. The Indian, when the folks basically make the rugs in India, they base it off feet and inches, and they basically have adopted the American measure system. Whereas Turkey, Iran, and virtually everyone else in the world uses the regular metric system. So in the Indian rugs, we talk about, when we say 18-18, it means 18 knots per inch. Whereas in the rest of the world, when we talk about the Turkish ones, for example, we say 10-10, or some like recently, I had a very fine 20-20. It literally means how many knots per centimeter. So that's the difference. And then you have, for example, this beautiful Persian Qum rug that's behind me. And in this case, they don't apply either one. When it comes to the Iranian rugs, when it comes to the Persian, and when it comes to a lot of the rugs, they just tell you either kpsi or knots per square meter. If you can, always go with kpsi, because if I told you that this Qum rug has 1.2 million knots per square meters, it doesn't tell you. It basically tells you diddly squat. I don't know how you're going to sit there and count 1.2 knots. But if I told you that this carpet has about, let's say, 800 knots per square inch. Well, that's easy. You can take the square root and you say, okay, well, based on 800, let's say this rug should have about 27, 28 knots per inch. Well, let's see. You put the measuring tape down, you put it in the back of the rug, you take a picture, you blow it up, and you count the knots over 1 inch. That's how you can tell. That's a lot easier for you as a buyer. And you can tell whether the seller really knows what they're talking about. So that is what I wanted to show you. Just because you see somewhere something is written like 18-18, it doesn't necessarily always mean that it's finer than a lower number. Just simply look behind the numbers and look at what it is that they are referring to, whether it is inches or whether it's centimeters. So there was basically the main part of this video for this week. For those of you who are not into the Turkish Hereke rugs, you can pretty much, I'm going to say my goodbyes to you now. Feel free to subscribe if you like, or visit us at mprugs.com, where you can see all of the individual pictures of these carpets. I also try to put the links in the description below. For those of you that are into the Turkish Hereke rugs, I'm going to show you also a very unique piece that I believe I have featured before. I don't remember, but it is such a unique piece that I've had folks asking about it, and I thought it wouldn't, there would be no shame of me sharing it again. So I will not see you. I'm going to get behind the camera as I always do. So I'm going to say my goodbyes to you guys now, and I'm going to see you guys again in the next video coming to you soon. So for those of you who want to see the details of this rare Hereke Serhad, please continue to watch. Take care. Bye-bye. So here I'm back again for the second part of the video, and I just want to briefly introduce you to a rare Hereke rug. Like I said, I just left the rugs up here. We had the beautiful cashmere. We have, well, the Qum rug, which honestly, I just absolutely love it. But what is unique about this particular Turkish Hereke piece, and we talked about it early in the video, like I said, when you put a measuring tape down, this is a 10-10 quality. But what is really rare about this piece, and for those of you who have seen my collection or have been following my channel, you know I have a personal passion for the older genuine pieces. And this is a very rare Hereke. There is the signature of it, and I'm just going to zoom in on it, and there it is. And there's this is a manufacturer known as Workshop of Serhad. Like so many unfortunate, I like to call them victims of the influx of the Chinese Hereke pieces that basically starting in the 90s just absolutely devastated, virtually destroyed the industry in Turkey when it comes to these rare pieces. But what is unique about the Serhad, and these are, for those of you that are into the Hereke pieces, this would be of the same type of quality and workmanship as the J&K or as the Aussie Pack. What was unique about them is not only the signature, because unlike a lot of the standard Hereke pieces, and of course you'd think I would have one, I don't have one handy right now at this moment, but the signature of the Hereke pieces, normally it is written in Turkish. But here you have it in the Latin alphabet. But what is really unique about these workshop is that they would include this piece at the top. And every one of their rugs in the old days would have a rug number. So here you have 9479. And this is something, it was done out of tradition. This is, this rug dates back many centuries. I'm sorry, not centuries, decades. Like I said, we're talking about 70, 80 years old. So right about 1940, between 1940 and 1950. And we're basing it off the colors, the design, and basically in the old days, you could go to the workshops and this is what they used to identify the carpets. Well, unfortunately, like I said, this is a workshop long gone, but it's really neat. And in the old days, they would cut this off. If you look at the fringes, and I deliberately kept the fringes behind the rug when we hung it up, but you can see the length of the fringes. In the old days, what they would do is they would literally just cut them off right here. This would literally be thrown away. So this was kept, And now it's become almost like a collector's item. This is what people look for. So if you see this particular signature in the Hereke rug, chances are it is not a copy. This is the Serhad, and if you are able to find it with the number on top intact, that's just absolutely stunning. It's not necessarily going to add value, but it's a novelty item. As I always tell my clients, when it comes to these types of fine pieces, when we purchase these, I would have paid the same amount of money, whether it is with or without the serial number is still attached. But this just gives it a little something. It's a really special piece. The quality, everything is exactly as you would expect from a semi-antique piece. We kept the old seal attached, but as you can see, and I'm just going to zoom, you can see there are some markings on it. But and this is very old school. I mean, this is very traditional. A lot of buyers back then, they would just simply cut them off and remove them. This was obviously hung on the wall for many decades. But like I said, I just wanted to toss that in since we talked about the kpsi and how to tell the difference between the rugs. And so I thought, since I have this one up and got some questions about it, I figured I'm just going to feature it in the video. So I hope this video is of help. For those of you who are passionate about Persian rugs and have subscribed, all I can say is thank you. Our channel keeps growing. This is a little amateur channel of ours, and I just love to share my passion with those of you who also share it. So hope the videos of help, and best wishes from us, and we look forward to coming back to you with many more videos. As I said, don't forget, if you like to, feel free to like the video, subscribe, check us out at mprugs.com, and leave us any questions in the comments section. Take care and best wishes. Bye-bye.